What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So we're going to be discussing another buff that happened for the Season 2 update, that of which is the Peacekeeper MK2. So out of all the patches, this was probably the most surprising, I would say, because, you know, the Peacekeeper wasn't really something that would ever be expected to get some sort of balance change, unless it was like really bad. But for the most part, the Peacekeeper has been a pretty solid assault rifle overall. Of course, there was just a single change to the weapon that may impact it in the long run. I mean, in a very good way. So the problem was that it had a lot of horizontal recoil, especially if you use the task force barrel. So I know a lot of you guys that use the Peacekeeper would either use maybe the rapid fire barrel, the built-in silencer, or even the task force barrel. So out of all the barrels, I would say that the task force barrel had the most downsides because, like I said, it was the one that gave the most horizontal recoil. It's not to say that the task force barrel wasn't a good barrel. Obviously, it increases the fire rate as well as basically giving you 50% more damage range. I mean, which is pretty amazing for an assault rifle. But like I said, the drawbacks were it just had a lot of horizontal recoil, and a lot of people kind of protested, or I guess they kind of they weren't really approving of this patch because the Peacekeeper is one of those assault rifles that was really rewarding when you get a kill, because you could basically, it shows that you could basically control horizontal recoil. I mean, that's what made it rewarding in the first place. Taking out most of the recoil pretty much defeats the purpose of using it in some ways. But I mean, you know, looking at it from a different perspective, you know, in a more, I guess, competitive standpoint, I mean, yeah, it's much more steadier, it's much easier to control, and so on. So the attachment that I would use to kind of compensate for the task force barrel was the field agent foregrip, because that was the one that gave the most benefits when it comes to control. It gave you about 10% vertical recoil control as well as 40% horizontal recoil control. So it pretty much makes up for all the horizontal recoil that you gain from the task force barrel. The biggest drawback from this is that your ADS movement speed gets pretty much thrown out the window because it reduces it by 16%. And that's a lot that you need, especially for, you know, touch players that rely mainly on speed and movement. So even if you're playing on PC or if you're playing on a controller, it is still pretty hard to control. I mean, yes, with controller and mouse and keyboard, it should be easier to control recoil. I mean, that's why our builds are a little bit different. But I mean, you know, taking away a lot of horizontal recoil from this weapon, it does provide a lot more options when it comes to using the task force barrel. So you don't have to rely solely on the field agent foregrip. If anything, you could run the basic foregrip and just remain with your ADS movement speed intact without losing any of it. To be honest, I don't really understand why they even added a long barrel for this weapon. You know, the one that increases the range by 100%. I mean, it sounds cool on paper, but there's just so many downsides to that thing. Well, basically just you losing like 35% ADS speed. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like that's probably one of the most pointless attachments for this weapon. So for the class up that I have for you guys is Agency Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Foregrip instead of Field Agent Foregrip, Double Stack Mag, as well as the Firm Grip Tape. So, I mean, the change really isn't much. I mean, all that changed was the foregrip, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need for the Peacekeeper when it comes to the Task Force Barrel. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay, and I'll see you guys next time.
Taking the lead. UAV recon standing by. Repeat, UAV recon is standing by. UAV online.
Contact. Cover me.
Tango down! Need backup!
Contact. Tango down. Enemy contact. Enemy in sight.
Orbital lasers ready.
Chances of failure are at less than 1%. And falling. Target inside. Enemy down. Targets inside. Changing mag. Enemy contact. Enemy contact. Enemy in sight. Target down. Targets in sight. Mag. Contact with enemy. Enemy down.
Need backup.
Enemy in sight.
I'm hurt.
Objective almost complete. Keep it up. Advanced UAV is ready. Advanced UAV is online.
Need backup.
Enemy contact.
UAV recon standing by. Repeat, UAV recon is standing by.
Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Reloading. Cover me.